Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on today's episode of Bullet Points, we're going to dive into Ohio. You know, that state that's correctly predicted almost all of the presidential nominees and presidential victors, except this last one, which we're not going to talk about. This is incredible because what we're seeing is a bill that has passed the House. We covered it, where basically it's a Constitution carry bill that passed the House, going to the Senate, which will most likely meet you to the governor. But what's important here is the reaction from the gun controllers. I've got an opinion piece here, and you know, on Bullet Points, we dive into the opinion pieces. We dive into the left intelligentsia, into their home turf, really stomp around in the mud a little bit and really prove them wrong. And that's what we're going to do right here, because what we have is not an argument on the merits from the leftists in this opinion piece. What we have is an argument from emotion. And this is incredibly important because their points are losing. If you look at Ohio, and I'm going to walk you through in detail because they even say it in this article, 2004 onward has been a steady progression of gun rights. It mirrors nationally a steady progression of gun rights. There are leftist pockets that are taking away gun rights, but on the entire nation scale, we're making some significant gains, and this is the way that we pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. It's linked in the description box below. I want to hear from you guys on this, but check this out because we're going to hit a few pieces, which is really being mirrored nationally by this opinion piece. Let's hit it. Opinion. Passage of gun bills misses the mark when it comes to Ohio's priorities. Okay, so right off the bat, they're not arguing on should or should not happen. Here's my idea, here's my proposal. They're just saying it misses priorities, so they're dismissing it completely. It's important to note what they say because words do matter. Guns are again atop the General Assembly's agenda, as demonstrated by two measures passed while many Ohioans were distracted by the legislature's congressional gerrymandering antics. So right off the bat, there's a negativity assigned to this whole, it's gerrymandering, right? We're not going to get into that. That's a distraction. Let's keep going. Let's stay focused because this is what they do. One bill, now there's two bills in question. I'm only going to address one. One bill, which the House passed 60 to 32 on November 17th, we covered it, would make it legal for an Ohioan to carry a concealed handgun without obtaining a state-issued license. And the whole point here, the whole crux of this battle is, why would you need to do a background check to buy the gun and then the exact same background check to carry the gun? It doesn't make any sense, specifically since in the Second Amendment it is the right to keep and bear arms. That's the whole point. And that's why you're seeing a nationwide march toward freedom on the gun rights versus the negative gun control. You are seeing gun control pick up in a few pockets, but overall, it's a pretty balanced march in a positive direction. We're always addressing it. We've always got work to do, but we are going in the right direction. Now, let's talk about this next one. Both bills, like I said, I'm going to talk about one, but both bills now move to the state Senate for committee hearings. The Senate is run 25-8 by the GOP, is more likely than not to pass both bills, which would send them to Governor Mike DeWine for his signature, or in theory, a potential veto. Veto? No, that ain't happening, right? This is just saying it's going to pass the Senate, get used to it. But now we start to see the vindictive nature, the sarcasm, and the adolescence come out here, right? Let's check this out. Whatever else the two bills will do, they will gladden Ohio's gun merchants and the national handgun lobby, which has never seen a problem that guns can't solve. Well, that's not really true. Roaches, you can't solve that with guns. You can't solve that with nukes. You can't solve that with anything. Of course, I'm saying that in jest, but this is just a sarcastic, elitist comment. Well, you've never met a problem a gun can't solve. When it comes to crime and self-defense, you are correct. But anyway, let's keep going. The steady expansion, and now possibly the virtual repeal, this is the important part, of Ohio's concealed handgun law was foreseen from the day that Republican then-Governor Bob Taft signed it on January 8th, 2004. Now, this is important because this is the main crux of the entire leftist temper tantrum, really. They see the march of progress happening in the positive direction for gun rights, and they are not happy, which is why you're getting the elitism, the sarcasm, the condescension, right? I'll keep going. I got a few more examples. Since Taft signed the 2003-2004 law, here's the history. A steady rollback of Ohio gun laws, all to please a relentless lobby till, it sometimes seems, Ohioans will be required to arm themselves as soon as they can walk. Sarcasm. Hyperbole. Has no place in a logical argument, but that's what they're doing because they don't have a logical argument. They have an emotional argument. Now, listen to the stats that they actually quote here to prove that the priorities are misplaced. Okay. In 2019, the latest year available, Ohio ranked fifth among the states in the number of firearm deaths. Meanwhile, Ohio ranks seventh in population, lags the nation in median household income. There's the numbers, and has more poverty percentage-wise than the nationwide rate. Ohio's rate is 13.1, and the nation's is 11.4. Okay, those are incredibly close. And also, the median rate, you're not taking into consideration the standard of life, the quality of life, and the impact of money in those areas. So those aren't really great examples, but it's all about bringing things up. Well, we should be looking at this instead. Not about the argument, change the focus. Comforting, isn't it, that the General Assembly has the right priorities? Nothing like ending out a good opinion piece with condescension, arrogance, and overall just hands up in the air because they can't do anything, so they got to have an emotional response. And that's what I've got for you tonight. Take heart in this, because this is what you're watching. You're watching the leftists slowly lose and throw temper tantrums all over the place. And that's what we're going to continue to do until 2022. I'm Braden. I'll see you tonight at the 9 p.m. segment.